Boy X, page 249. There is 1 hour and 4 minutes until shutdown. On this side, there was no obvious way to board the boat from the water, and the jetty was too high to reach. Ash swam around to the stern, where the name Olympian was painted in bold black letters. And spotted a low swimming platform. He pulled himself onto the boat, throwing the messenger bag and survival pack onto the deck beside him, and lay face down with his cheek against the wet fiberglass. He was terrified for Isabel. He had no idea what Kane would do to her, but had seen enough to know it wouldn't be good. All those bodies in the biosphere, the blood, he had put it out of his mind. All he could do was find the radio and use Thorne's distress call. Hope that Kane would keep Isabel alive for a while longer. Come on, he told himself between breaths. Keep moving. He struggled to his feet, weighed down by wet clothes, grabbed the bags, and climbed over the stern to drop into the boat. He crossed the deck and peered through a glass door into the cabin and galley. Plush, cream leather seats were fixed in an L shape to Ash's left. Beyond them were the wooden worktops of the galley and a set of steps descending deeper into the boat. The Olympia swayed with the motion of the sea, groaning and creaking as Ash scanned for evidence of a radio. Seeing nothing, he stepped back and noticed a ladder heading to a level above. Ash rattled up the ladder and found himself on the bridge, where a pair of leather seats were bolted to the floor in front of an array of controls. In the center of the panel was what looked like a radio. Ash went straight to it, pulled the handset away from the dash. He put it to his mouth and pressed the button on one side. Hello? Nothing. Not even a hiss of static. Hello? He said again, keeping the button held in as he studied the main radio unit. There was a digital display on it, but it was dead, just like all the other screens on the dashboard. Power, Ash muttered. How do you... He spotted the ignition close to his knees, with the keys still in it. A metal O hung from the key ring, swinging gently from side to side. Ash took hold of it and closed his eyes. Please work. When he turned the key, the engine stuttered and jumped into life. He had not expected it to work the first time, so he was filled with a surging sense of victory. He was now one step closer. Soon this would be all out of his hands, and he could let someone else take control. The screens and dial lit up, and the radio let out a long, sharp hiss. Pshh! Yes! Ash reached across to the main unit and pressed the channel button repeatedly, his fingers shaking, blood running from the cuts on his palms. When the readout finally displayed a large 72, he tried the headset once more. Hello? Pshh! His heart began to sink. Thorne had been lying. Please! He held the button down again. Please, tighten down. There has to be someone there. Please. Pshh. Click. Say again, over. The voice made Ash jump, and a burst of excitement shot through him. I said, tighten down, tighten down. Pshh. Nothing. Ash pressed the button again. Tighten down. Did you hear me? Please, tighten down. Click. Reading you 5. Loud and clear. Tighten down. Please stand by. There was a long pause, filled with static, and Ash looked up toward the cliff top, seeing no movement. The window in the tower was still just a dark rectangle. Anyone there? He said, pressing the button down on the headset once more. Tighten down. Tighten down. He kept his eyes on the cliff top, wondering where Kane was. Tighten down. Tighten down. Click. Click. You can stop saying that now. He froze. Sit tight. I'm on my way. Thorne's calm voice was unmistakable. Ash tore his eyes from the cliff top and stared at the handset. How on earth could Thorne reply to his radio message? Wasn't he supposed to be stuck in a dark hole in the bunker in the middle of the jungle? We'll be there in 5 minutes, Thorne said. Ash watched the headset as if it might hold some answers to his questions, but he caught movement out of the corner of his eye and looked up to see Cain and her men jogging along the road by the mansion. Isabel was with them, surrounded so she couldn't escape. "Hurry," Ash said into the headset. "They're coming. I have Kronos and Zeus." "Just stay calm," Thorn replied. "I'll be there in 5 minutes and we'll get off this godforsaken island. After we help my mom." "Pshh. I said after we help my mom." "Yes," came the reply. "Of course, after that." On the cliff top, Cain and her soldiers were waving their arms as they ran, as if to attract his attention. They were forcing Isabel to do the same, trying to trick him. Ash scanned the front of them, seeing how far they would have scanned in front of them, seeing how far they would have to travel before making it down to the beach. 5 minutes, he guessed. That should be enough. Thorn would be here by then. But it bothered Ash that Thorn was on the other end of the radio. He pressed the button and spoke into the radio headset. "Thorn? Right here." "Are you in the helicopter?" "Affirmative." "How?" Pshh. The static hissed into the quiet morning before Thorn came back on. "I have a locator and a health monitor implanted under my skin. I hadn't moved for a long time and my vital signs had dropped, so my people thought I was in trouble. They got worried and came looking for me. It's all good, Ash. It means they got here quicker." This was good news. It meant that help was already here and they could fly straight to the biosphere to save Mom. Everything was going to be okay. But for some reason, it felt wrong. Ash watched the figures running along the cliff top and remembered that Thorn had told him about how Dad had died and about how he was here to stop Pierce and Cain from getting their hands on Kronos. And then it struck him. It had been so obvious. How had he not realized it before? If Thorn had wanted to stop Pierce and his team from getting Kronos, why had he allowed them to bring anyone to the island? Hadn't Mom already destroyed Kronos? Why give her the opportunity to recreate it? And why had Thorn sounded so cagey on the radio just now when Ash mentioned rescuing Mom? There were just so many questions, and trying to unravel them all made Ash's brain hurt. But something told him not to trust Thorn. There was only one thing he could know for certain. People were prepared to do anything to get their hands on Kronos, and that meant he had to prepare to do anything to stop them. He had accepted that he was alone. No one was coming to help.